On the Build Show today, we're talking about the best roof assembly ever. That is a bold statement, isn't it? This is a Best of Build Show. Jordan Smith is going to walk us through a project that clicks all the boxes, including a super cool Tesla solar roof and batteries. Today's Best of Build Show, the best roof ever. Let's get going.
Today we are talking about the perfect roof system, specifically a Tesla shingle roof. We were the first in America, in Texas, in this area. No, I really do think that we were the first people to integrate Tesla solar shingles with the Powerwall 3. So the Powerwall 3, when we put it in, was brand spanking new. And to be honest, there were some growing pains that we might talk about later in the episode. But overall, we're very impressed with the Tesla products. But before we get to sort of the money shot of the Tesla, I want to talk about what it takes to build a system that is able to take full advantage of a powered roof. And to do that, I'm going to do a little block building here. So these are rafters. In the primary structure, these are giant 5.5 by 18 Roseboro glulam rafters. They're spanning, well, the overhang alone is 15 foot. We've got a 15-foot cantilevered overhang over the front porch, and then it spans 30 some odd foot in the middle with a cross brace. But in general, they are beautiful real wood rafters that can take a ton of load and just look great while they're doing it. In the house, they're Doug fir. In the Monarch room, which is a little bit different, we went with Doug fir as well, but it's not a glulam, it is a 2x12. So both Doug fir, but one's a little more humble in the Monarch room, which is sort of the mud room. It's just a little brought down, more closely spaced, just a little more humble. And then in the great room, it opens up to these giant rafters. On top of those, we have clear Douglas fir that is structural. This is our structural roof deck, and it's our finished ceiling. So if you look up on the main house, you'll see this beautiful clear Doug fir structure that is also the ceiling. So you see the structure as the ceiling, and it's acting as the roof. We don't have multiple layers of ugly material up there. It's all just really great material. Great thing about this is Doug fir is not that expensive, but to get it in clear, you're going to be spending quite a bit of money. We went with solid clear on this build. If I was to do it over again, there's other products like Rainier Plank that, and none of this is sponsored at this time anyway. Rainier, if you're seeing and you want to throw money, great. But we like Rainier. It's a solid Doug fir backer, and then on the front, it's clear Doug fir that's just super high quality because it's just a thin veneer that you see. So you get the structure from the lower grade behind and the look from the higher grade on just the face. To do completely clear like this, it's incredibly expensive. This is like $80,000 just for the ceiling roof structure for Monarch wood. So not a cheap option, but it looks great, and it's just so cool to see the structure. On top of that, we did do a quick asphalt, just a builder paper on top of this, just to keep water out while we were building the rest of it. So it doesn't really do anything. It's, you know, it's not our main limiter on vapor in there. So it sits in there and it doesn't really do anything once the house is built. In fact, we don't want it to do anything once the house is built, but it did help shed some water while we were building it. On top of that, then, we have our, no, did it backwards. On top of that, we have our insulation. I'm showing foam here. It's not really foam, it's rock wool, but I couldn't find any rock wool laying around as I was digging through the garage in here. But we have our insulation on the exterior of our structure. So our structure is exposed, and then we're insulating on top. We did a very narrow insulation cavity because we wanted this roof to look very sleek and slim up on top. I know in Mountain Modern, we just designed one of those up in Montana, and people like those big, heavy, thick roofs that you're able to put all the insulation in. You can also get there, in Texas especially, with a thinner roof, and to my eye, it just looks a little bit more weighted and balanced instead of just this big, heavy roof on top. And then on top of that, we put our sheathing. So yes, we are doing double duty. This is acting as our structure, so technically we don't need this decking, except for Tesla requires you to have decking directly under their shingles. So if you do this system, just know that you're sort of double paying because you have to have some sort of a sheathing roof decking for the shingles to go directly on top of. Again, not that expensive when you're talking about this level of build. And I thought this was really interesting. On top of this decking, Tesla provides their own ice and water shield. This thing here is made by a roofing membrane manufacturer. I hear it's Carlisle. Could be wrong. They probably change manufacturers, but at the time that was the rumor that I heard. It feels like a very high-end commercial ice and water shield, and they've got this woven texture on the back that I really, really like. I'll be honest with you. When the owner said, I want to do a Tesla roof, I was like, not because of the reasons that you're probably thinking. It was before the reasons that you're thinking, and it wasn't anything like that. It's just anytime that you have a system where it all has to be that system, you have your own membrane, you have your own solar panels, you have your own flashing, you have all of your own products for that system, and it all has to be used together. And then it's manufactured by a non-roofing company, or it's at least sold by a non-roofing company, sold by somebody who's primarily known for power systems and cars. I was like, I don't know, man. This is, one, it's expensive, right? So that was my first thing. I was like, look, we're about to put a metal roof on this. It's too late. And he's like, nope, I really want it. I'll pay cash. We'll get it done. And I was like, all right, well, you know, if that's what you want. I have to say it went incredibly well because we went with a very well-known roofer here in Texas, K-Post. They're out of Dallas. They put the roof on the Dallas Cowboys stadium, so they're a huge company. And because they're so big and because they do so much Tesla roof, any issues we had, because we did have issues, not with the tiles, but with the batteries and connection and all of the firmware updates and all of that stuff, any of those problems, K-Post was able to take care of, and because they're the 900-pound gorilla, I feel like customer service was much more responsive. So don't consider this as an open endorsement of like, run out and get Tesla. Do your due diligence, but man, is it a cool system. When it was all said and done, I'm so happy that we did it. The roof membrane is a fantastic membrane. Again, I'm pretty sure it's made by a large commercial roofing membrane company. And then these tiles are something else as well. This is a Tesla solar tile. So it's basically just glass. This is a tempered glass. It feels a lot like, especially on the backside, it feels a lot like a ceramic oven cooktop. So it's tempered, it's very hard. It's the highest class of hell rating you can get on a shingle. I've thrown softballs at it. I've shot ice balls at it, and I just haven't been able to make it break. I'm sure you could if you threw like a spark plug at it or any of your other delinquent tools that you shattered tempered glass with. It will shatter. It is glass. But in a hailstorm, we had a huge hailstorm come through North Austin a couple years ago. I talked to a lady who had the Tesla roof on hers, and zero damage, zero. Everybody was getting their roofs replaced. Every metal roof, shingle roof, I don't care. Almost everybody got their roof replaced. Her Tesla roof was fine. There wasn't one broken shingle, and there was so many broken solar panels. So their advertising says that it can stand up to it. Secondhand accounts, to me, says it can stand up to it. This house hasn't underwent a huge hailstorm yet. Hopefully it won't. But if it does, I'm pretty confident that it will be able to stand the test of time. On the back side here, you see that each solar panel has 4 leads coming out. So you've got 2 here, you've got 2 here, and they connect to each other in strings. So across this roof, we have 6 strings that each one of those strings feed back into our batteries below. And then we also have a brain. It's the Tesla, I forget what they call it now, Masterlink, or anyway, it's the brains that sees how much power the Tesla roof is generating, how much is in the battery, and how much is coming off grid, and it's able to balance all of that in a pretty slick app. This house is about, on a good day, is almost 100% off grid. They've had months of zero power bills, but that's just because they spin the meter backwards for a large majority of the middle of the day. They're producing more power than they can consume. But we're about 95% that if you just unplug the grid and even didn't spin the grid backwards, the house would provide all of the power for the house, the barn, the apartment, and the she shed, all of the wells, everything just off the roof. Really pretty cool. Finally, there's these clips here on the top that get screwed down to the decking below. And so if anything happens with the panels, you're able to pop the panels off from the exterior and pop new ones back on. We actually had this happen. One of our strings weren't performing right, and we had to pull off a whole string, find the issue, fix the issue, pop it back on. Again, that's why a great integrator is so important to the process. K-Post was great. If you're around in Central Texas, definitely go check them out. I'm sure there's others, but if it was me and I was having to take care of this, it just wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have done it. I just wouldn't have done it. But having a great integrator made it really easy to put up. We're really happy with the performance. And they also have some really cool building science features built into their system. They've got this drip edge that's also ventilated. So this whole thing, you can see here, this whole thing sits 2 inches, inch and a half above your structure below. So the whole thing is ventilated and has a drainage plane over the top of your ice and water shield. So just a really great system. Let me go show you that detail out on the roof. And up here on the roof, the end result is pretty fantastic. This is 40 kilowatts of solar generation, and it looks like a shingle. It really does just disappear onto the house. From up here, you see it a lot more because we're looking at such a steep angle, but from the ground, you can't even tell that there's solar panels anywhere around this property. But from the homeowner standpoint, he has got the capability of charging his 6 Powerwall 3s and almost making it all night on nothing but solar energy. And in the middle of the day, like I said, that meter is spinning backwards. While we're up here, I want to show you a couple of quick details. This is the end cap for the shingle, and it is metal. You hear that there. It's a good system. It's a fine system. It terminates the shingle run very well. I've heard rumors that they're talking about going to all metal instead of this is a passive shingle. The whole roof is not powered. This one's passive. About 75% of the shingles on the main roof are powered and the other is unpowered, and you can't tell a difference between the two. They just look exactly the same. You can tell a little difference between the metal and the glass. I thought it was going to be a bigger deal. It's really not. You can't tell from the ground. All you see is the end of the metal, and it looks like a great high-end metal shingle roof. And then from the top, you can barely see. From 30,000 feet in the air on a plane, you're definitely not going to be able to tell the difference. And then the other cool thing is this accessory here is a ventilated vent that is both here at the end, on the low end, and at the high side at our ridge as well. And this allows the whole roof to be ventilated so that any water that finds its way past these shingles, and this is a pretty low slope roof, so water could find its way pushing back up these shingles and find its way on top of our ice and water shield below. It's able to find its way all the way back out. It runs down, runs out these little slots here, and it runs down to the gutters underneath the ground and out to the pond. And it also allows for air to move through and to dry that space out. So with these hot shingles on top and that air movement, it is going to dry out super quickly. We don't have any concern about water problems down the road. And that air gap also gives us the ability to to have a better insulated cavity because it's basically shading that. Yes, this thing is absorbing as much solar energy as it can because it's a solar panel, and it's going to be re-radiating that off of the backside, but then it's got to go through that air gap and get absorbed into our rain screen, and then the insulation does its job. But that air gap is also cooling that space off, so as it's trying to radiate, the radiation won't be slowed down, but all of your convection will be mitigated because as it's trying to convect off the backside of these shingles, instead of just having a hot attic up there, it is ventilating out from the bottom. Hot air is rising and ventilating out the top. This is a very cool system. I highly recommend it if you have a great installer. I've been more impressed than I thought I would be. Honestly, would I do it again? Absolutely, I would do it again.
Pretty bomber roof assembly. I really like Jordan Smith, and I am super excited to have Jordan back on the Build Show. If you don't know, Jordan and I shot a ton of videos on the YouTubes like 5-6 years ago. So you can go check those out, but more importantly, all his new videos are on thebuildshow.com. Also follow Jordan on Instagram. He's publishing some really fun stories and videos these days from some jobs under construction outside of Austin, Texas. Now here's how to get notified when Jordan's got a new video over on our website. In the description below is going to be a link to our newsletter. We send a newsletter out 3 times a week, Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday, saying here's new at thebuildshow.com, including all of our series work. You know, we're up to like 20 contributors now with our build experts and our build pros. So I'd love to have you sign up for the newsletter. That's how you know what's new and what you can see on the site. With that being said, guys, hit that subscribe button below. We've got new content here every Tuesday and every Friday. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on the Build Show.